Welcome to the Live Your Dreams podcast, where success leaves clues and someone has your answer. Joined as always with my lovely co-host, Miss Tia McKissick.
Hello.
Hello, Tia. How are you?
Great.
And how was your week last week?
Good. How was yours?
Oh, fantastic. And as always, we're going to start off by helping somebody. Ladies and gentlemen, in the description link, you can tap that link, and that is for Fun and Grow if you want to fun and grow your business. If you do subscribe to that link, you can get a free funding training from the good people at Fun and Grow. Fun and Grow. Fun and grow your business. All right, so Tia, you said you had a good week. What was the best part of your week?
Well, working, spending time with family, but we had a rough week because our grandson was in the hospital.
Yeah, how's he now?
Doing great.
All right. I knew that. Just wanted to see how you say.
Oh,
all right, so
I'm
good
happy.
to go. I know, I'm happy too. I mean, but that's a part of life, you know what I mean? You have the good times.
Ups and downs.
Ups and downs. You get ease, then you get difficulty. Then you get ease, then you get more difficulty. But today's topic, we're talking about does money make you happy? And that's a good topic because we talked about how to be happy.
Right.
Now we want to ask the question. That's the $1 million question. Does money make you happy? All right, when I ask that question, Tia, what do you think?
In some ways, yes.
It helps.
Yes, it helps.
It doesn't
How
hurt.
about for you?
Well, I think money does have its place. I mean, especially if you want to do things. Like, say, if your dream is to travel.
Right.
It does take money to do that, right?
Right.
Say if your dream is to, help your family. It takes money to do that. So I think money has its place.
Right.
But I don't think ultimate happiness, because I've studied with Tom for so long.
Right.
And I know that, and he was big on, definitely having resources. But one of the things I learned from him was the power of your mind and the power of, I guess, making yourself feel a certain state, whether it's happiness, joy, or whatever it is, but really going internal. Because a lot of times feelings are from eternal, right? Not external. But we do live in a material world where you do need some material things. Right. And again, not saying that if you don't have those material things that life is going to be miserable for you, because that's not necessarily true. But I think it does have its place. Right. And it does help you. Right.
Right.
I never forget when I was talking with Tom before I knew what was possible. I never forget because my dream was just to have an apartment and an escort, and I thought I would be living a dream. But I went to him one day and I said, how much does it take to so that you can live your dreams and be happy? Right. And one thing that Tom did, he was really good at making things plain. So we wrote down some of the dreams and we wrote down what we wanted. Right. Out of life, and he showed me exactly what you needed to do and how much you needed to make that dream come true. So I think when you say, does money make you happy, you got to know how much money you want, right? Because some people could say, hey, if I get $1 million, I'm good. But some people say, if I get 100 million, I'm good. Some people say, if I get $1 billion, I'm good. So it's really your price, because some people, you say, hey, I got $1 million, they'll probably be like, that's nothing, right? So it's really your price. Just like everything in life. And it goes back to your philosophy. You have to have a philosophy about that, about what would make me happy. But if you was just to ask the question, does money make you happy? I think it has its place. I think it could help. I think it could hurt too. Because sometimes
some people get psychosomatic to have more.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
I never forget when we were foster parents. We used to go through all those trainings about psychosomatic, dysfunctions, and I never forget the illustration the director did when he said, somebody didn't have something, they could go into a psychosomatic fit. But he also said, hey, when they get something, they can also go into a psychosomatic fit. Right? So sometimes you could get money and still have that same negative effect. Right. As if where you didn't have that money and somebody have that negative effect. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But
I think health is important sometimes more than money.
Yeah, it's health. Because if you're not healthy, you don't have anything.
Can't make no money.
Yeah. Because I never
can't enjoy it.
Yeah, I never forget, like when my mom passed, And I would say I was just sitting there like, man, I could give all the money in the world just to have my mother back.
Right.
Right. Because somebody who unconditionally loved you. So first and foremost, if you have a mom out there, trust me, you have a lot.
Right.
Because
you're rich right there.
Right. Because I think one of the things about having a mother, that unconditional love. Right. I think it's something that a mother can do. And again, I could be just biased, but I think it's something because maybe I didn't have my father. But I think a mother can do something that, is just that unconditional love is unbelievable.
Right.
And I think that's priceless because to have somebody that can love you no matter what.
Right.
I think that was priceless. I think that was more than money.
Right.
So I think that was the key where, I remember sitting there saying I would give all the money in the world just to have my mother back. Right. Even if it was for a day.
Your parents is important.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the things. So looking at that, when you think about that on money, I never forget where I achieved something, and I thought that it would be this like firecrackers or fireworks would go off, and you would feel this utopia feeling. But sometimes you climb that mountain, and then you get up there to the top, and you realize it's not what you thought it would be.
Right.
Right. It's not what you thought when you get to the top of that mountain. You think, oh, I know once I get this, I'm gonna be extremely happy. And then you get there, you're like, this ain't what I thought it would be.
Right, that's true.
Right? You're like, this ain't what I thought. I thought I would have this ultimate happiness.
Right.
But it's really not that. So one of the things I would think, you really got to know what you want and why you want it. Because
and another good thing is, when you do have money, being able to share it, with people, family.
Yeah, absolutely. To be able to help someone. I think that's the number one thing.
Help somebody.
Where sometimes we want to help people, but it does take resources to help people,
Because you remember where you come from,
Absolutely. And you want to definitely give back. So you want to definitely help people with that. So I guess the ultimate question when you look at that, I would say it definitely has its place.
Right.
So I guess if you go and say, we be concrete and say yes or no. If somebody was to ask you, does money make you happy? Would you say yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you?
I think I would say yes too, because I never.
Being real.
I never forget, and this is one of the things where I thought it would be like my life. I never forget, sitting at a stop sign, and the car just shaking, and you're like, man, I hope this car don't cut off, because you didn't have the resources to get it fixed.
Right.
And that's an awful feeling. And I never want to feel that feeling again.
It's stress.
So I think that's one of the things, and it is stress, and it takes a level of stress management to handle that. So I think when you say, does money make you happy, and if you say if it has to be yes or no, I would say yes. But again, if you explain, I would say it's not necessarily the money that makes you happy. I think it's more
the fact that you can have it and do the things that you need to do when stuff come up.
Absolutely.
Like when you say that car was shaking.
Absolutely.
If, when you have money, it's like, oh, okay, I can get it fixed.
Absolutely.
When you don't have it, it's like, oh gosh, please, I'm stressed.
Absolutely. And you know what I would...
And you wouldn't be stressed about anything breaking down in your house.
Yeah.
Different things like that.
Yeah.
When you have the resources, but when you don't have them, you get a little stressed.
Absolutely. So what I would like to talk about, does money help in a relationship? Does it make your relationship happy?
Yes.
All right, well, let's go to a sponsor, then we'll come right back to that. All right, Short Child Care, short name, long in service. That was Tom's quote. Ladies and gentlemen, on your screen, you will see Short Child Care, the number there. Please call the number. It is full, but there is a waiting list. Put your child's name on the waiting list, and Short Child Care is working hard to expand. So again, Short Child Care, short name, long in service. That was Tom's quote. All right, so getting back to, does money make a relationship happy? What do you think about that?
I think so, because you have the resources to go out to enjoy each other.
Yeah, and I think, and just speaking for myself, I know with our relationship, I know we do go out, and I think that helps the relationship.
It does.
Because I think being able to spend time especially like if we go away for a weekend. I think it kind of helps just being in a different environment.
Right.
I think that kind of helps the relationship. Not saying that your relationship wouldn't work if you don't do that.
Right.
But I think money helps it because that's one less argument.
Right.
Right? Because when you don't have money, the arguments just wouldn't stop.
Right.
I mean, it's like you're arguing about, just the silliest things. But I think once you have money, that's one argument you won't have.
Right.
Now, not saying you won't have any other arguments, because with resources come different things, right?
Right.
And again, you want to just make sure you're careful with that. But I think the money piece on a relationship, I think it helps it because, again, you get to do things.
Right.
Because I know you like to travel, you like to see different places, and I think that helps the relationship.
It does.
I think that really being in a different environment kind of makes you think different.
Right.
Plus, you always feel blessed when you go other places because you feel like, man, I can't wait to get home. I didn't know how good I had it, right?
Right.
Because you think when you realize that you're really in a good position.
Right.
And I think traveling kind of helps you, give you perspective on that also. So I think if you say, does money make a relationship happy? If it had to be a yes or no, I would say yes.
Yes. Because
I think it kind of helps with that. And one of the things, if you don't know what type of money you need, I think do that exercise that Tom did with me. You have to write down what you want, right? Because sometimes you would be surprised that some things don't take as much as you think.
Right.
Right? Because I know a lot of times if we go away for a weekend, it's not as expensive as you would think it is.
Right.
Or if we go somewhere out, it's not as expensive as you think it is.
That's true.
So I think sometimes you just got to write it down and know what you want.
Right.
Especially when it comes to money. Because, again, if you have a goal and you have something to work towards, life becomes a little bit more interesting than if you didn't have a goal and wasn't working toward nothing.
That's true.
Does that make sense? And I think that's one of the things. What do you think is the best thing when you look at resources or money for our relationship so that we can help somebody? What do you think is the number one thing for our relationship that money helped with? So what do you think is the number one thing? If you just say, okay, money helped with this, what would you say was the number one thing?
I mean, it helped with everything. Cost of living,
Yeah, so everything.
Everything.
So one of the things I think when you look at money.
And I didn't know what to say because we are so blessed. I mean,
yeah.
We're doing well with that.
I think when you look at money, I guess for a man's perspective, and not saying it's any
all
different
my
from
needs
yours.
are met.
Yeah, I think my perspective probably isn't different from yours, but I think it just takes away some of those. I don't know if it's those feelings of inadequacy.
Right.
Does that make sense?
That's true.
Where you feel like, hey, I could do things, right? And it takes away that. But I think that goes back to you have to know what you want.
Right.
I think everything, when it comes to success, everything comes back to what you want, right? I think it all comes back to what you want. Does that make sense?
That's true.
Yeah. So, again, in conclusion, just taking, does money make you happy? I think we said yes, but that's not necessarily, like I said, it may not be everybody's case.
Right.
I think everybody's different, right?
Everybody different.
And I think, and we just celebrated 28 years. I think with us, in all the 28 years, we didn't have money.
No.
So, I mean, we started out real humble.
Right.
I mean, too humble. Even Tom used to say, man, you too humble. But I think to have money, I think our relationship is better now. And it could be because we've been together 28 years.
Right.
But I think resources definitely help our relationship.
That's true.
I think it definitely did. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure if this is your first time to the channel, please subscribe to the channel because we're definitely trying to grow our fan base. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you do have your goals and work on getting your money right, all right, I'll see you. And yes, I do mean you living your dreams. Peace.